Hi, I'm Tom Summers with Edina Realty, and today I want to talk to you about seller-paid closing costs from the buyer's perspective. As a home buyer, you understand that you have to put a certain amount down on the purchase of your home. With an FHA loan, it's typically 3.5%, but there are some people who put 20% or better down on a conventional loan. Most buyers, specifically first-time home buyers like yourself, probably have the money to put down for the initial loan to get you into the home, but what you don't have is the extra cash to bring to closing to cover all of your closing costs, which include prepaids for insurance, for property tax. Different things are going to create an escrow account for you, plus you're going to be paying for different services for the loan, from the loan origination fee to a PID search to the actual closer who's doing all the paperwork for your home and for the purchase. So what you can do is you can ask the seller, will you please pay some seller-paid closing costs so that I can get into this house? The thing I want you to understand as a buyer, though, is when you ask for seller-paid closing costs, that's money coming out of the seller's pocket. Okay, from a buyer's perspective, who cares? Because you're trying to get it for the best price. I understand that, but you also have to be aware that the seller's going to be like, well, great, here's another X amount of dollars they want to come down, plus whatever purchase price you're offering. So let's say the house that you want to purchase is $250,000, and you come in and you write an offer putting 3.5% down for $240,000, and you want an additional $5,000 in seller-paid closing costs. That offer would be the same as someone coming to the seller and asking to sell the home to them for $235,000 cash. It's still a $15,000 offer under what the list price is. So I'm not saying that's good or bad, just want you to be aware that the seller paid closing costs that you're asking for do count against that seller's bottom line. So that's part of the art of the negotiation of the purchase, is to understand how much to ask for and then how you counterbalance that. So typically what ends up happening is that because you don't have that extra money on top of your down payment, you're asking for these closing costs. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just you have to formulate the right plan so that it works out and you actually get in the home that you want. The thing is it's also a legal way basically of you financing your closing costs so you don't have to bring the cash to the table. It's true that the seller does not get the benefit of that $5,000, but that $5,000 is rolled into your loan that you will be paying interest on over the course of the 30-year loan. So it's also important to keep that in mind as well. So you have to balance the amount of cash you need to bring as a buyer against PMI and other fees that will be rolled into your monthly mortgage to determine the best route to go. So before you decide to ask for anything more than what you need, make sure you know what your numbers are. The other piece of this is if you ask for, say, 3.5% in seller-paid closing costs, and the seller agrees to it, and then it turns out that you only need 3% in seller-paid closing costs at closing, that extra 0.5% does not go back to you, the buyer. That actually will go into the seller's pocket. So you can use it to help you purchase the house, but don't go in expecting that the seller should just pay it. It's part of the negotiation, just like you're negotiating what day you're going to close and the inspection date and assessments and all of the other stuff. So it's good for you to at least have that basic knowledge of what you're asking for when you ask for it and what the sellers will probably view it as. I hope this has been helpful. If you're a seller who stumbled across this and you want more specific information about seller-paid closing costs from the seller's perspective, I have a video and an audio on that as well. Just look on my website. Thanks again for tuning in, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.